My name is Anmaveko, and my project is called A.R.T.S, Aerial Rapid Transportation System. I'm a 10th grader, and it's part of the 3D modeling category. So what is A.R.T.S? A.R.T.S is a flying vehicle that is designed to transport passengers to their destinations at faster velocities. It includes compact design that will allow it to quickly fly in cities, takes up less space, and can even horizontally take off or land. A.R.T.S is designed to also efficiently conserve fuel. So some use cases include being an air taxi in order to transport passengers to their destinations. It can be used by major delivery companies like Amazon to deliver goods and products in record times and increase customer satisfaction. It can be used to supply resources to people in disaster-struck areas. This can benefit people who are in desperate need of supplies. Arts can have limitless opportunities. It may even be used by ordinary people to do their errands. So this is ARTS. Parts of the vehicle include carbon fiber wings and rudder for better durability. The flaps, ailerons, and rudder provide increased mobility in the skies. The sharp design and curves allow for better aerodynamics when flying. The legs are suited for support when landing and takeoff. And the four turbines, which are located here, 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 and here, rotate 360 degrees to provide thrust whenever and wherever needed. These features allow the vehicle to take off or land vertically. The program that I used to create this object is called Autodesk Fusion 360. This 3D modeling software allows its users to create advanced, complicated 3D models with the help of its various tools. One of the things that you need to know when creating an object in the software is the ability to extrude, which means to basically just turn 2D objects into 3D. So let me show you what I mean. First, let me enable object visibility to show all the lines and points that are in this model. Next, I pick a surface that I want to use, and I want to use this surface to create a triangular 3D object. So I press the surface, press Create Sketch. What it does is that it creates a plane on that surface. Next, I use the line tool to create a triangle. There are various other lines you can create, various other 2D objects like circles or ellipse or maybe an arc. So now that I created a triangle 2D object, I can now extrude it. So I just press on the triangle, then press E on my keyboard. And what it does is that you can now actually pull this to create a 3D object. You can even put the actual height measurement in here, or you can just pull it. If you want to cut stuff, what you can do is you can actually make it go the opposite direction to cut. This will create a hole inside this vehicle. You can also add a negative measurement in order to show that you're trying to cut something. So like as you can see, negative 40 inches. And if I enter, it creates a 3D triangle object. One of the topics that I wanted to talk about in this video is the parts of the model that I've created. So one such example are the curves that exist in the fins and the cylindrical objects that are attached to the turbines. So the curves that I've created here for the fins that are actually attached to the turbines, these curves are actually where they originally never existed, and what happened was the only thing that existed there was basically like a flat surface, and edge, and it just didn't look aerodynamically good to me. So that's why. So what I wanted to do is I wanted to create like a curve to make it look more aerodynamic. And so I use the tool called fillet here. A fillet creates this sort of curve on the edges of an object, as you can see here. And that's what I basically did. I basically clicked on the edge that existed there, and then I used the fillet to create that curve. So let me demonstrate that in this edge. What I did was I pressed this edge, press fillet, and depending on which way it would tell you, just either push it or down or pull it up, depending on depending on what kind of edge you're using. You just do that, and presto, you get a curved shape there. Next, I also wanted to talk about my legs. They used to be the the legs of this model actually used to be like basically, oops, sorry about that. The legs used to be shorter, and at first I was okay with this, but then I thought that if this model did really exist in real life, the shorter legs wouldn't support um, the whole model, the whole vehicle. So that's why I use this tool, a move a copy. This allows the object that you want to edit. You can make that object move around or rotate or even basically just make its height increase. So I just wanted to make the legs longer. What I did was I picked the side that I wanted to extrude or make increase height, and I used this. I pressed this, and basically I pressed faces here, which allows me to pick which surface I want to extrude. And I picked this surface, and I basically just extrude it longer or shorter. But right now, that's not what I want to do for this leg. And yeah, another type of complicated part was this rudder. I wanted to create like a special rudder design. And so what I did was I experimented with the original rudder, which basically was just like a 3D triangle prism. And what happened was I used this construct plane to basically like um, cut through cut the rudder at a another angle, and what it created was it made this shape here, as you can see. Whoops. As you can see, it created this V shape here when I used the construct plane. Um, and and when I created that, it just looked perfect to me. So that's how I created this simple design. Other parts of the model include the inside part of the vehicle. I wanted to create this to give people an idea of how the object might look in how the space might look in real life. And and there are other parts of this that were hard to create. Um, and but I've managed to do all that and conquer those obstacles, and I finally created this. One of the great tools about this software is the ability to create textures and colors. And as you can see in my model, I've used several textures. I've used glass, aluminum, titanium, carbon fiber, and more. And to do this, what I do is I go to the modify dropdown, I press appearance, and what it does is it brings up this sidebar here. And it allows me to put any color or texture that I want. So as you can see in this selection of um, textures are actually just all the textures that I've been using. If I scroll down, this is a library of every material that is available to use. for a texture. So fabric, glass, stone, wood, and each of these categories has more textures. For example, if I go to metal, it actually has several other types of metals. So let's say I wanted to use one of these. Um, I just take steel and I actually just press and hold it and then just drag and I drag it and drop it here in this part. And this will appear. And what I do is I can just, so here's just an example of a steel that I use. What I do is I can just press this and change the color if I want. So like green or maybe light blue. And what I do is I press done when I'm done with that, and it creates this steel. And if I want to use it for if I want to replace this blue here with this steel, what I do is I pick surfaces, um, to apply to, and I press and hold this, and I drag it and I drop it here. And as you can see, it changed. But if I don't like it, I can just return back here and then put this aluminum polished blue color back. And it'll still be okay. One of the cool new features that I learned to use in this software is the ability to create animation. Animation will allow me to show the moving parts of my model. And as you can see here, there's an animation timeline here, and this shows all the movements and animation that I've created. Now, let's start. So if I put it at the beginning and press start, this actually shows my vehicle actually rotating its turbines 360 degrees. This is a useful animation as it shows the moving parts of my model. And as you can see here, the flaps are actually going up and down here. And this rudder is actually turning left and right. This is a great software. This Fusion 360 is a great tool because it let me create various textures, create animations, create sophisticated cuts at different angles, and even export my model to the nearest 3D printer. There are an infinite number of possibilities with this software. Thus, I decided to use this Autodesk Fusion 360 for my project. Improvements to the current state of the project would be to create a better legs, scale the turbines larger. However, the overall design looks perfect for transporting passengers. Additional questions. Did I work alone? Yes, I worked alone. I did the whole modeling and the PowerPoint. What involvement did my parents and teacher have? My teachers weren't involved, and my parents only gave me feedback on the presentation. What was the most fun part of the project? The whole project to me was actually fun. I'm actually interested in creating complex 3D models, and whenever I kept working on this project, it just felt fun for me. And what is the easiest part, tough part, and what did I learn? The easiest parts would be creating the whole body, including the sharp design. That part was probably the most easiest part. The tough part was actually the rudder because I needed to create this sort of like sophisticated cut at a different angle to achieve my own desired unique rudder. And what I learned was I learned to create new textures, animation, and even rendering with this software. And these will help me in the future when I create new complex designs. Thank you.